Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, and I'm outside because we had some severe rain yesterday and last night. And many of the surrounding townships have actually considered themselves in an emergency situation. There was flooding, there was people trapped, there was basements totally flooded out. So we didn't experience any damage at all. A lot of my plants are like flat because all that torrential rain just pounded down on them. But everything seems to be fine. We don't even have any standing water. My husband went down and checked the basement and it's dry, so luckily for us, everything worked the way it's supposed to. I hope that you want to join me for my day, and I'll talk to you guys in a little while. The other day, I went on Amazon and I saw that they had a tripod that was quite inexpensive, and the tripod that I have been using for this camera is wonky at best. Yeah, that's probably not even a real word in the English language, but it's quite stable, but you have to make sure that you have everything just right, or it can, like, the leg just start to collapse and tip over and things like that. And it's caused me a lot of moments of nervous anticipation, thinking that my camera was going to fall over and break. And if any of you followed me from the beginning of when I started these vlogs back in October, I broke my very first camera. That's exactly what happened. It tipped over and it went crashing down on the lens right on the floor. Yeah. So very, very cautious on how I use my camera. So when I saw this, I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. So let's open it up together, huh? Hopefully it will work. The reviews on it were good for the majority, but like with many things, there's always bad reviews, you know? So we'll see how it works. Okay, let's see here. Paper. So it's a box within a box. And a book I ordered. So, okay, let's see. This is the Platinum Plus 5858D camera and camcorder tripod. It is supposed to go up to 58 inches high and as low as 22 inches high, weighs a whole 8 pounds. No, I'm sorry, that's the load capacity. It weighs a whole 1.85 pounds, and it has 3 legs. It's made out of aluminum, so it says it has rubber feet, so let's see what this is all about. I'm really hoping that this is going to serve my needs a little better than what I'm presently using. Okay. That's the feet. And I'll pan you up so that you can see the top part. I see. So this will take care of that. My camera will go up on here. Not really sure what this does yet. There is a crank here, and that's going to let it go up and let it go down. It has a way to be able to make sure that it's level, the leveler here, and there is another leveler here. And these feet here are just this is supposed to go up and down with unsnapping and snapping these. So that's kind of nice, isn't it? I think I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this. But the other thing I wanted to show you that I got is, push that to the side. I got a book. It's called Medicinal Herbs by Rosemary Gladstar, A Beginner's Guide, and Maniac Grammy is the one that she talked about a certain recipe coming out of this book, and she highly recommended this book, so I thought this sounded like a book that I want to get because I enjoy my herbs. So anyways, I'm going to look through this, and rest assured, I'm sure that we are going to, in the near future, find out some things from this book. But it's all about knowing, growing, and using herbs. So I'll talk to you in a little bit. Today's verse will be Proverbs chapter 10, verse 9. People with integrity walk safely, but those who follow crooked paths will be exposed. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, integrity. And I just have a story that I want to read to you because I found it fascinating, and I thought you would also. There was an aging king who woke up one day and realized that he could die anytime, and there would be no male in the royal family to take his place. He was the very last royal family in a culture where only a male could succeed to the throne, and he was growing old. He decided that if he could not give birth to a male, that he would adopt a son who could take his place. But he insisted that such an adopted son must be extraordinary in every sense of the word. So he launched a competition in his kingdom, open to every boy, no matter what their background. And 10 boys made it to the very top. Now, there was very little to separate these boys in terms of their intelligence, their physical attributes, and their capabilities. And the king said to them, I have one last test, and whoever comes on top will be my adopted son and heir to my throne. And he said, this kingdom depends solely on agriculture. So the king must know how to cultivate plants. So here is a seed of corn for each of you. Take it home, plant it, nurture it, and for 3 weeks. At the end of those 3 weeks, we shall see who has done the best job of cultivating the seed. That person will be my heir apparent. The boys, they took their seeds and they hurried home. They each got a little pot and they planted the seed as soon as they got home. There was very much excitement in the kingdom as the people waited and watched to see who would be their next king. In one home, a boy and his parents were almost heartbroken when days after intense care, the seed failed to sprout. He didn't know what he had done wrong. He had selected the soil very carefully. He had applied just the right amount of fertilizer, and he had been dutifully watering it. And he had even prayed over it. And yet his seed had turned out to be unproductive. Some of his friends advised to go and buy a seed from the market and plant that one. After all, how would anybody be able to tell one seed of corn from another seed? But his parents, who had always taught him the value of integrity, reminded him that if the king wanted them to plant any corn, he would have asked them to go and find their own seed. If you take anything different from what the king gave you, that would be dishonesty. Maybe we are not destined for the throne. If so, let it be. But don't be found to have deceived the king. So the day came and the boys returned to the palace, each of them proudly exhibiting a very fine corn seedling. It was obvious that the other 9 boys had had great success with their seeds. The king began making his way down the line of eager boys and asked each of them, "Is this what came out of the seed I gave you?" And each boy responded, "Yes, Your Majesty." And the king would nod and move on down the line. The king finally got to the last boy in the lineup. The boy was shaking with fear. He knew that the king was going to have him thrown in prison for wasting his seed. "What did you do with the seed I gave you?" the king asked. "I planted it and cared for it diligently. But Your Majesty, alas, it has failed to sprout," the boy said with tears streaming down his face, and the crowd was booing. But the king raised his hands and signaled for silence. Then he said, "My people, behold your next king." The people were confused. "Why that one?" they asked. "How can he be the right choice?" The king took his place on his throne with the boy by his side and said, "I gave these boys boiled seeds." The test was not for cultivating the corn. It was a test of character, a test of integrity. It was the ultimate test. If a king must have one quality, it must be that he should never be above dishonesty. Only this boy passed the test. A boiled seed cannot sprout. Never. I like that story. You know, we live in a society that has become obsessed with success. And there are many, many shows on TV all about success and success at any cost. There's books about succeeding. It just goes on and on. We say sometimes that the end justifies the means, but that's the tragedy of life. You see, failure is often an invitation to God to show that He is all-powerful and does not need help to make us great or to bless us. Just something to think about. So with that, I want to remind you, life happens. Let's enjoy it. And let's remember to be people of integrity. I'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless.